I head into the league and look who we have here, Ronnie. Hey man, I mean, you messed up a lot of our endeavors, but it's good to see you nonetheless. I'm lying. I hate this guy. He talks about his life as a solo gangster, but also tells me there's another new challenger that has entered the challenge to New Elite 4. A news broadcast breaks in announcing Blue as the new champion of the Kanto region. Of course, he still has a lot to learn about the position. I mean, he's only 10, but only if he knew what was in store for him. Oak arrives and can't believe his grandson became champ after all these years. He barges his way into the champion room. Bill arrives and he tells us he knows about the basement lab and who Red really is. We have to put a stop to this, but this lady won't let Bill and I through. Bill tells me to use whatever dirty tricks I have to get through, and I begrudgingly do the unthinkable.
Hey, what's all this commotion, Random? Are you guys trying to break into the Elite Four? That's rad. What's that? You need help? What? You mean my help? Damn. Never thought you'd say that. You know, Random, I know I haven't been the greatest buddy in the world. I keep getting things wrong and screwing stuff up. No, I'm not as smart as you and all. I just wanted to be bad. A real badass pimp gangster, right? The whole 9 yards. I didn't want to wait around. Didn't want anyone to think I was a sissy. I couldn't take it. I'm real sorry. I'm going to set things straight and be a proper thief like you one day. I'll do things by the plan. No more cutting corners. So look, just this once, leave it to me, Landon, for old time's sake. Raticate, on alert, you lazy rat. We've got work to do. Raticate, give us a hyper fame.
Well, that works.
Don't worry, Random. Me and Raticate will stand guard here and keep nosy people out. You go and do what you gotta do.
We barge in, but all I see are the Elite Four members already defeated.
Who are you then? First Oak, then Bill. Now this wanky fella who looks like he might be Giovanni's nephew. This is a big happy reunion finally. Well, what fitting timing after all these years. It looks to me like Kanto was about to radically change again. That child we just passed. He's something to be reckoned with. I was prepared for a challenge, not a one-sided slaughter. Cold and calculated, not a sign of emotion. Can't imagine the others will fare any better against him. Well, what are you gawking at? Run along. I'm not going to humor you with any tricks now my Pokemon are knocked out.
This is crazy, my friend. These powerful children. Where did they come from? That child with the spiky hair, I thought I had a chance. Not so with the one called Red. Total destruction. I admire his power and discipline, but I sense there is something not right about him. Ah, nonsense. I'm a straight harder, it's the only explanation.
We meet again, Random. Much has happened, it seems. I was filled with pride when Blue defeated me and took his rightful place as champion. Pride that there was something worth preserving in my blood after all. But Red, he seems a different beast altogether. I never paid much attention to that child, but it's clear I made a mistake. I can understand now why Samuel held him in such high regard all these years. To tell you the truth, I don't quite know what brought it out of his kids. Well, you're looking with Samuel, aren't you? I'll say, when you walked past me just now, it was strange. He was ice cold, didn't say a word, but there was a glint in his eye that cultivates it, brown-nosing, politeness that all disappeared. There was something in him like the way he used to be in the old days, like he had a definite purpose he was chasing. Do what you must, Random, but bear in mind that I will honor whoever is the rightful champion, and I cannot stand behind anyone who interferes with that justice. You've been warned.
Yeah, you again. I won't stand for this meddling. As if seeing that worm of a professor again wasn't enough. Now we're invaded by genuine terrorists. If my Pokemon had any health left, I'd teach you a lesson, Thub. And would I still champion, I'd have you hanged. And if only... Look at me. What in Giratina name happened? I don't know how I could have prepared for these super kids. I suppose. What difference does it make in the end? If you're defeated by Child X or Child Y? At what point is your dignity so pressed that you just stop caring? Go on then. Lord knows you people aren't my responsibility anymore.
Red, you defeated the Pokemon League. I came to congratulate you.
It's Gramps.
I'm really quite impressed. You've grown up so much since that day you first left with Charmander on your quest to complete the Pokédex. You know, Red, you really have come of age now. What a shame, Blue. Once I heard that you had beaten the Elite Four, I decided that I should come. But by the time that I had arrived, you had already lost. The reason you lost is because you've forgotten to treat your Pokemon with trust and love. Red, you do understand that this victory of yours was not just your own doing, don't you? I want you to come with me.
Another news broadcast is held to announce that Red is the champion. Oak of course swoops in to declare that Red has speech and anxiety issues and cannot properly convey his ideas. As such, he would carry out Red's ideas, which we know is total BS. Oak calls for changes like harsher punishment for criminals, bringing the legendary birds and beasts under government control to preserve nation heritage, and for lands to be punished. But before Red can agree, Blaine and Fuji barge in, proclaiming that Red is unfit to be champion, as he technically isn't even human. Oak of course tries to cover this all up by saying that Red's anxiety is spiking, so he immediately brings him and himself into the Hall of Fame room. Agatha, however, does believe Blaine and Fuji's accusations, but instead of being outraged, she was thrilled to realize that Oak wasn't a coward, rather, he was cunning. She attacked the whole room with her ghost Pokemon, backing us into a corner. I used the Silph Scope to reveal the ghost Pokemon, unhanded myself, and took on Agatha in a battle for the right to head to the champion room. I defeated her swiftly, but she told me if Oak's old self has really returned, there isn't anything he wouldn't do to keep me away.
Hello, Rocket. I think you should know, it went out just a handful of people in my life to have exhausted my patience for polite conversation. You slimy little radical. I thought you'd be just another speck for Red to wipe away and forget about, but somehow you slipped through every single crack there was, to exactly the sequence of steps that could unravel everything I worked for. It doesn't matter what you've seen. Red is as good as human as any. The region is legally bound to follow his command, and there's not a trainer anywhere who can take his title from him. I knew that when I saw his pulse beat for the first time in my lab. Knew I held the key to complete lasting power. Surrendering the war is just the next logical step. I'll tell you this. It was the hardest thing I ever did becoming Kanto's traitor, but it helped reinforce the lesson I'd already begun to learn about honor. You see, in war, people will fight to their dying breath, but in peacetime, they'll forfeit without a second thought to any odd kid who can beat them in a Pokemon battle, all in the name of this honor. So it stands to reason, if you control the strongest trainer, you control the shape of history. See, I have no plans to be a chivalrous leader, just a smart one. What do I care about my legacy? About living up to higher virtues? Where's the rational scientific basis for believing that when I'm dead, none of it will matter? I've been surrounded all my life by these idiots who fail to see that there's only power and weakness, pleasure and pain, life and death. None of their precious values mean anything in the final analysis. It's why I can vent and prattle on to you about anything I like, because the word of a lowly criminal means nothing to a person of any stature. For face two in a court of law, we both know who will win. I do what I can, pull the strings I have to pull, to further my own interests. I don't need any pompous ideas to fool myself into thinking of doing anything else. Yes, I've been there all along, in Red's adventure, nudging him in the right direction, whispering in his ear when he was about to make a mistake. Nobody in the right mind would think a child should hold the power of a device like Master Ball, but when the opportunity presented itself for him to grab the copy, I couldn't possibly let that pass by. Then of course, I needed to make sure none of the Mewtwo scientists would suddenly get curious about Red's origins, so I stepped in to keep them out of the way. If it wasn't for Bill, I would have easily scared them into submission. Now it became clear to me when my aides called me about your little intrusion on my lab, that I hadn't insured myself against every contingency, but it doesn't matter. All can still be well. These slip-ups can be rectified. If I stick to the plan and do not let my emotions get away with me, Red is quite the role model in that regard, as the very image of pure cold-blooded rationality. He's very nearly human, like us in almost every way. He lacks only that emotional core, morals and conscience, a reason to act, some ultimate goal. To aim his innate aggression and unconstrained intelligence at. It's lucky for him that I can provide exactly that. Doesn't it fascinate you now you know the truth? Who is Red really? What's his personality? He could be anyone. He's only a puppet. Yes, a puppet for someone else to control from a distance. That's his purpose in life. I think, Rocket, you're much alike in that way, the two of you, but that's enough talk. I happen to know Red gave you a thorough beating somewhere at Mount Moon a long time ago. He's orders of magnitude stronger than any trainer he has faced, and I can assure you, if you struggle to stand your own battling him back then, you don't stand a chance in hell against him now. But then your Pokemon seem to be the only defense you have, so in the name of our culture's silly little etiquette, stand tall, Rocket, and face him like a man.
Oh boy. We are battling Red, and I do not think it's gonna go well. My team is underleveled, the moves aren't good, Missing No isn't as good as I thought it would be. Mew doesn't have enough coverage. Yeah, this is tough. Okay, we have Ancient Power for this. Should take it out. There we go. Well done. Snorlax goes down to a couple of Wake Up Slabs. There we go. This thing is weak as hell. Strength should 1 KO. Let's go. Lapras. Wake up slap. There we go. You know, I find it funny that Red is supposed to be this super rational trainer, yet he decides to have a Pikachu on his team. Yeah, Alakazam is more like it, but Pikachu, really? Dragonite Acrobatics from Acrobat takes it out. And we beat Red. Yes. I won. Let's go. Oak is furious at Red's loss, but just then Agatha enters the room. She proclaims that she never lost trust in him and always believed Oak would deliver on a perfect Kanto. That is 100% a lie, and Oak calls her out on it, calling her a woman through and through, despising him at his lowest and coming back to him when he returned to power. That is phrased very badly, but aside from the misogyny, I think you get the idea. Oak decides to show what her loyalty meant to him by bringing out his Tauros and killing Agatha with a Giga Impact. Damn. Bill and Ronnie arrive, but Oak, now knowing he's outside of the law, decides to battle us himself. Alright, here we go. This is looking to be the boss battle of the game. Alright, Mew should take down the Tauros that killed Agatha, which is still a bit unnerving. This Executor dies like 2 times over. This thing is weak as hell. X-Scissor from Scizor. There we go. Fantastic. This thing is healed a lot, but Arcanine should go down to this Acrobatics. Strength from Jolteon might be a 2-hit KO, unless it critical hits. There we go. Acrobatics from Crobat again. Takes out the Venusaur. Well done. And quick attack from the Gyarados, or onto the Gyarados, and we win the fight. Fantastic. Oak was perplexed. How did I manage to foil his plans and defeat Red, a clone capable of Pokemon Mastery, unless I myself was a clone? Lance barges in to apprehend Oak, but in a last-ditch desperation, he commands Red to use his Pokemon to protect him and claims he can use the Hall of Fame machine to register himself as champion to do a lot of damage within this small period of time. Suddenly, my Missingno breaks out of his Pokeball to corrupt the Hall of Fame machine records, which renders Oak's final stand a futile one. He is dragged away by the police, but he's not the only one, as Lance gets the police to arrest me to answer for the crimes of Team Rocket. Red, the results of the genetic test presented to the court and the council of our leading medical professionals have left little doubt in the minds of our jurors. You've clearly suffered from severe birth defects. Whatever you are not a human being of upstanding physical or mental health. You have no birth certificate and you are not a legal citizen of Kanto Johto. In short, you are not fit to be champion of the Indigo League. Consequently, the position falls to your predecessor, Blue Oak.
Your Honor, I don't think I want to be champion anymore. Let someone else take it. After what I've learned about Grandpa, I don't need his approval anymore. I have other stuff I need to do.
Very well. Then the position defaults to Lance.
Oh, Your Honor. I'll gladly accept the burden of resuming my position.
Then the matter is settled. Red, your case is unprecedented. We've tried our best to treat you with sympathy, but we must take the safety of the public into account. Your Pokemon license will be revoked with immediate effect. An unstable person like you cannot be allowed to wield lethally powerful Pokemon in battle. Out in the wilderness perhaps, in the name of self-defense, not in civilized society. That is all. You are excused. Professor Samuel Oak, you've been accused of voluntary manslaughter and of conspiring to upend the government through, please excuse me, through engineering a genetically modified clone of a human boy, groomed from birth to be a bloodthirsty and obedient to authority, uniquely suited to take down the Indigo League champion, created all as a part of an 11-year plan to return to power in a secret laboratory hidden from public view. But the lab in question is empty. For a charge this implausible to hold any weight, we'd have to have presented with substantial evidence. No such evidence has surfaced. The charge is dismissed. Moreover, no reliable eyewitness testimonies could be brought forth about your involvement in Agatha's death. In good faith, we can only conclude that she died in an unfortunate accident in a Pokemon battle. On the other hand, the jury unanimously declares you guilty of violating your ban on Pokemon battle. In summary, Professor, you do not appear to pose a threat to the public's well-being, but you have shown a terrible lack of regard for Kanto's laws. No official anywhere will grant you another Pokemon license. Your research will not be funded. Professor Oak, you are hereby banished from the Kanto region. Seek your fortunes elsewhere. Random. Please approach the bench. As member of Crime Syndicate Team Rocket, with honorable title Boss, you stand accused of several confirmed counts of Pokemon theft, violent coercion and intimidation, complicity in Pokemon smuggling and violence towards women, bicycle theft, possession and use of a forged Pokemon license, threatening and attacking a police officer, and assisting the operations of a pair of unlicensed procurers operating in the underground path. That being said, there is no bounty on your head at all despite your high position. This seems to me to be a promising sign that your conscience is intact. The corruption hasn't seeped in too deep. Nevertheless, the jury declares your sentence to be 1 year served in the regional penitentiary. I can only hope you've enjoyed your time in the criminal underworld, Random. It's plain to see why living beyond the law attracted you. In a gang like Team Rocket, it may seem as if you can get away with any depravity you like. But eventually, the chickens come home to roost. You've had your thrills, and now I'm afraid it's time we brought you back to the real world. Random, I declare you guilty as charged. Well, I guess crime doesn't pay. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. This video is probably one of the biggest videos I've ever made, so any support on the video would be greatly appreciated. And yeah, see you next week. Bye.